Hello. We are very excited to be here and have you guys join us today. We're going to be doing a new activity. Griff and I work with Fairfax County Wastewater Management. I'm Melissa.
Hi, everyone. Happy Earth Day. I am Griff.
So we're going to be doing an activity looking at how healthy are our pipes. And we're going to do that by looking at a robotic camera that we use in the sewer pipes. So before we start talking too much about the camera itself, we want to take a step back and make sure we understand, well, what is this sewer water or wastewater that we're talking about? Okay, so what is wastewater? Wastewater is water that you use in your home and it goes down the drains and toilets. Wastewater is part of a bigger water cycle. We call it the urban water cycle or the one water cycle, like you see here on the screen. It includes stormwater, wastewater, and drinking water. All three of these things are different, but they join together and they make it so we can use and reuse our water, recycling it over and over again. We do that because there's only 1% of water on Earth that is fresh, accessible water that can be used in this process and this cycle for us to be able to use for drinking water. So all of this water plays a critical role in our lives. So let's think about that. Where does wastewater come from? This is a little group participation here. Anybody have any ideas they want to put in the chat or tell us, unmute if you can, and tell us, where does wastewater come from? What did you use the water for? I know a lot of people used their water this morning. There you go. So we got toilets. That's the big one. That's the one most people think about for wastewater. Draining spaghetti. I love it. Yes, cooking. And then after we cook, that water does go in the sink down the drains. Okay. A couple others are going to be, flip this slide, Griff.
Yeah, sorry about that.
There we go. So a couple other uses. Washing lettuce, good. Washing our clothes. We don't think about that a lot of times because we don't see where that dirty water goes, but to wash our clothes, to take showers, wash our hands. We got flushed in the toilet and washing our dishes once we're done eating. So after we use this water, it goes down the drain or we flush it. And then what? It enters our wastewater system or our sewer system. And this is where we're going to start looking at how that process works.
Okay, so the sewer system, and just as Melissa mentioned, all that wastewater has to go somewhere. So often once it goes down the drain or we flush our toilet, we tend not to think about it. One of the important things with the sewer system is that all these pipes are located underground. And there's many reasons for this, but one of the main reasons is that just in Fairfax County alone, we have nearly 3,300 miles of sewer pipes. So that's enough sewer if you laid them end to end to go from the East Coast to the West Coast. So, the best way to utilize these pipes and keep them out of our everyday life is to put them underground. Now, when we talk about our sewer pipes, these sewer pipes are helping transport wastewater from our homes to a wastewater treatment plant to get clean. That is the purpose. It's to convey wastewater from one place to the other. These sewer pipes rely on gravity to transport the wastewater. Now, gravity, sometimes will not be effective anymore. And this is when our sewer pipes come to a low point within the sewer system. So if you look on the right, we have places that are called pump stations. And these pump stations just help lift the wastewater to a higher ground so gravity can take back over. It's almost like going down a water slide. Once you get to the bottom, you have to climb the stairs back to the top to go down again. And that's similar to what these pump stations are doing. So the best thing for our sewer systems is that we have a healthy sewer system, similar to the human body. As humans, we want our system to be running optimally. We want a healthy system. So, what are some things that we do as humans to keep our body healthy? You can share in the chat or join in on the mic. I do not have my chat up, so I'm not sure if we have
I have it. There's nothing yet. So
okay.
might have to just give them some ideas.
Yeah, we can jump into it. So as humans, to stay healthy, we do a lot of things. We exercise, we take our vitamins, we get a good night's sleep. We try to get 6 to 8 hours of sleep, and we try to eat healthy foods, whether it's vegetables, fruits, or other things that are essential to a good diet. Well, this is the same thing that we want happening when we're talking about eating healthy foods for a healthy body. We want our sewer systems to capture the appropriate or proper items that are supposed to be disposed of in a sewer system. So, if we look, these are some of the common items that on a day-to-day basis that we may flush down the toilet, we may put down our sinks, or we may throw in the trash. So if we want to take a quick second, does anybody have any idea of where some of these items should be properly disposed of? And you can just pick any item. You can say flushable wipes should be disposed of in the sink. Now, we know that one's not correct, but
Good. So in the chat, it says flushable wipes all go in the trash.
well, there we go. Somebody has been paying attention, and that is correct. And if we move forward to the next slide, we're going to actually separate where all these items should be properly disposed of. So if you look on the left, the toilet is made for toilet paper, human waste, and obviously the water. Our sink, soap and water, not too much more than that, because the rest of the stuff on the screen should end up within the trash. Our paper towels, our flushable wipes, food scraps, and fats, oils, and grease. And we'll touch a little more on these items as we move forward.
Okay, now for the fun stuff, right? So we know what the sewer system is. We know how wastewater moves through that system. Let's see how we're going to figure out the health of these pipes. And what we have here is a robotic CCTV camera. That's closed caption television. Basically, the very front of that robot has a camera on it. And that camera head can turn 360 degrees around, making it so you can see all parts of that sewer pipe without missing anything that could be going wrong. Okay. And we have our workers, our CCTV crews that go out there. They work in teams, making sure that they can look at the health of these pipes as we go along. All right, so we're getting ready. We pull up to the location of the manhole. This is where the CCTV camera is going to enter into the sewer system, but they can be located in a lot of different places. You have manholes that are in yards, in the woods, or even in the middle of or in the middle of streets. Okay, so they can be many places, and you'll see us out in the roads sometimes doing this work and checking out on these pipes. So you're going to see how we get started here. So here's one of our CCTV workers giving us a look at the work that they do to take care of our pipes. They remove that manhole cover. So underneath the cover, you'll see that there's going to be a little catch pan type thing. Basically, that pan, and what he's looking for is a little loop on there. That keeps all the extra storm water or rainwater out of the system. So it's only wastewater that we're collecting down in these pipes. Once we have our pipe figured out, we know where we're going. These pipes are different types. They might be different types of materials, which means you might need different types of tires. Okay, so he's changing out the tires to make sure it's best for the location we are ready to enter. We saw a quick little view there. The video's moving a little slow. A quick view, there are a bunch of different wheels that we can put on so that it grips onto that road a little bit better and helps us as we go along.
It's hard getting the video play button to come up.
There we go. All right, so he's finishing getting that together. We lower this robot into the manhole and we're ready to go. So you'll see he gets it all set up, sets the wire right on the little track so it can nicely move down into the pipe.
Okay. Okay, so now we have our CCTV camera into our sewer system. So the whole point of putting this device down there is to monitor the health of the sewer pipe, to make sure that the inside of these pipes are not clogged or broken, to effectively move wastewater from our homes to a treatment plant. So as we move through this video, we're going to see different portions of the process of monitoring the inside of the sewer pipe. The first thing we're going to see is actually the last time we'll see the CCTV video with our eyes before it enters the sewer pipe. As you can see, it had the right tires on because it got traction to enter. And now we're making our way through the sewer pipe. And a good thing to know about this pipe we're looking at is it's relatively a healthy pipe. We don't have debris on the sides. You can see the curves of the pipe, which means that everything's pretty clear. And that's a good thing. Another thing is the flow of the water. It's moving at a pretty steady pace. And that's a good thing because, we know gravity's working good. We know there's no blockages upstream. So the flow looks pretty good. As we come up, we're going to actually have our CCTV camera zoom in on a lateral pipe. Now, a lateral pipe is where the wastewater from your home is entering the county pipe, and every home has their own lateral pipe. So this is one lateral pipe. We don't know which home, but this is where that home's wastewater is coming in to the county pipe. And it looks like nobody's at the house right now because there's not much happening. So here is what it looks like from up top. Our CCTV is in the sewer pipe underground, and this is one of our CCTV professionals. He's operating the CCTV device. So he's moving the camera, he's moving the equipment through the pipe to kind of see and monitor what's happening within that pipe. As you can see on the bottom right of the screen, his hand is using a joystick to navigate through the sewer pipes. And he'll use that to drive the CCTV equipment and also move the camera that Melissa mentioned is able to rotate in many different directions. Now, in some cases, not all the controls are the same. We have controls that looks like what's happening here. It's almost like a Game Boy that has two joysticks for your thumb, and that control is doing the same type of thing, but just a different type of control. And it's moving the CCTV camera. Okay.
Okay, so we're going to move through these a little quickly, but we want you guys to be able to see some of the issues that can happen within sewer pipes. And some of these are because we don't know the problems that can happen or what happens to our wastewater once we flush it down that toilet. So we're going to look at them and see how they look for a report card. We kind of give them a grade to see if they're good or bad, if they need to be fixed or not. So let's move on to what we see here. So in this video, you can see there's a lot more water in there. but that water doesn't seem to be really moving quite as well. There's also a lot of buildup on the sides of the pipes. Okay, so this doesn't look like the clean sewer system that we saw before. As a matter of fact, if you take a look at that water, it doesn't really seem to be moving at all. I think there's a problem ahead.
Can you,
We got to get our video to catch up. Here we go. Okay,
okay.
so now our first issue we can have is wipes. You can see the pile of wipes right in the center on the bottom of your screen there. Hey, these are flushable wipes as well as regular wipes. They don't break down and can cause that wastewater problem, so it can't get around it. Griff, you can just keep letting the video go because of time. So here's some of our workers. They're going through talking to us about how they clean up all these wipes. These guys are actually at the pump stations. They're mechanics. They're supposed to be maintaining the pumps like you see here, but they spend a lot of time cleaning up the trash that we put down our sewer systems. Trash that leads to backups into your homes and overflows into the environment. So make sure you keep that trash out of the system and put it in the trash can. All right, the next one, fats, oils, and grease. These are the little spikes you see coming out of the side of these pipes. Okay, that's causing a lot of problems here. This turns into a solid, becomes really hard, and can cause big backups into homes and businesses again. So here's some more pictures. Same thing, causes backups in homes, overflows in the environment. Keep them out of your sewer pipes. There we go. Instead, you want to can it, cool it, and trash it. Just trying to get us through to the end. So I'm skipping some of the stuff. We can go right through there. Another one is tree roots. Okay. So we put fats, oils, and grease shouldn't go down our drains. Wipes shouldn't go in our toilets. We can take care of those. We can all do something to protect the environment that way. Tree roots is another one. We forget what's underground. So you don't want to plant those trees over where your sewer pipes might be because they like it. It gives them water and it gives them nutrition. So they're going to grow right inside those pipes and cause problems.
The last thing we're coming up to is a break in the sewer line. And then when we get closer, you're going to see a wire has made its way into the sewer pipe. Now, this is a problem because wastewater can now get out into the environment. And as you see at the top of the screen, you can see the wire passing through the sewer pipe. Now, when we have an issue like that, we don't leave broken pipes alone. We need to fix these pipes. So in this case, we have to dig down to the sewer pipe, find exactly where the pipe was broken. You can see the wire passing through there now. We remove that section of the pipe. We add almost a Band-Aid or a piece of pipe that will take place of the broken piece. And then we add the soil and some stone back on top, and you can see on the right, it looks like it's back to new. Throw some grass seed on that and you'll never know there was a broken pipe there. And then to wrap it up, we always have to remove our CCTV from the sewer system. And just like any nice piece of equipment, you want to make sure that you're keeping it clean and healthy so it can continue monitoring the many thousands of miles of sewer pipes within the county.
All right, so basically I know we're out of time, so we're just going to say each of these get a health report. You can see how some of them not going to pass. Okay, they're not going to pass the class. They're going to need to be fixed. And this is what we do to make sure that the environment is protected. Is there any quick questions in the 1 minute that we have left?
You can have more than a minute if you need it.
Oh, perfect. I did get a question in the chat. I'm not sure if everyone can see my response. They asked about paints and disposal of paints. Paint is a big one that we we forget that you're not supposed to put these down the drains. They can be very toxic and cause problems, not only to the pipes, causing them to corrode, but once it gets to the treatment plant, it can cause problems there as well. There are household hazardous waste disposal sites throughout Fairfax County that you can take these to, and they'll be happy to take them from you and dispose of them properly. So to answer the next question, there is a question in the first part, the robot tethered or is it wireless? It is tethered. And that's for the reason of also helping us in case it gets stuck down there and runs into something and we can't get it out. It allows us to help crank it back out through that tether as well. I believe they can go about 200 to 300 feet in, and then they'll bring it back out again and they'll start going down through another manhole before they before it gets too long into the sewer pipes. Do you all pull out microplastics at your facility? So it's a great question. So microplastics are a new thing, right? And we know that they're starting to enter into the wastewater system through a lot of things, especially through the washing machines. Clothes nowadays are not normally just cotton. So microplastics will come out of that clothing from those other materials and end up in our wastewater. It is very difficult to remove microplastics. We know that because they're so tiny. So we don't have an exact, we don't know exactly how much comes in and how much goes out. We do know that it removes the majority of the pollutants that come through our wastewater treatment plant. That's the only thing we can say about that one with accuracy. Great questions. Are there any others that we can answer? The most unusual object the robot has encountered. To the toothbrushes and toys. Yes, my son thinks it's very fun to put everything down the toilet, and I'm not really sure why. I don't know. I don't know what the most unusual thing is. You often hear, I'll hear people ask us, sometimes, are there alligators or crocodiles? I guess there's movies or stories about them being in the sewer systems. Not so much in Fairfax County, of course. Florida's a different story, but it's not in their sewer systems. It's in their storm systems. So around here, I don't recall they've ever really seen in particular toys or stuff like that. They may have and just not mentioned it because maybe it's common since all of our kids like to try that. I do know that some things such as there was at one of the pump stations, which these pipes lead into, one of the pump stations did have stuck in its pump a tape measure that ended up down in the sewer system. So you can find some unique things down there.
That's awesome. Melissa, are there any other questions?
I don't see any other questions
Okay.
coming through. Thank you, everybody, for joining. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Griff. Thank you, Melissa.
Thank
Happy
you.
Earth Day to you both.
Happy
And
Earth
thank you
Day.
for being here at SEAS.